Jean Marie Ward writes fiction, nonfiction, and everything in between. Her credits include a multi-award nominated novel, numerous short stories, and 2 popular art books. The former editor of CrescentBlues.com, she is the author-interviewer for BookBail.com and a frequent contributor to the online convention Continual. Jean Marie, over to you.
Thank you for that introduction, Elaine, and thank you all for joining us here today. I will be reading from the collection that you see here. It's called Dragons, Cats, and Formidable Femmes. And my story will be one of the new stories that is in that collection. It's called Potted Demons. Potted Demons. Holy Saturday, 1723. The canebrake rustled a warning, step by cautious step. Something larger than a house cat, but smaller than a cougar, sidled through the brush at the edge of the clearing. The vampire Quentin de Charnay's hands stilled over the dead egret in his lap. The crackle of his campfire, the cries of the local wildlife must be playing tricks on his ears. No sane person padded barefoot through the mud and snake-infested weeds of Les Sieurs de Bienville's Nouvelle-Orléans. In the dark. No, there it was again. Definitely human. No other animal within the scope of Quentin's supernatural senses skulked on 2 feet. He set the carcass on the ground next to a napkin covered with long silver plumes culled from the bird's head and back. De Bienville's cook wanted a spectacular centerpiece for the commandant's Easter feast. The cook would pay well for the 2 egrets Quentin trapped earlier that evening, but Quentin needed more. The Company of the Indies didn't care that he had been kidnapped and transported to Louisiana against his will. His passage home would cost a fortune, the same as for anyone else. The price of vengeance would be higher still. So the cook would have his birds, but Quentin would keep the silver plumes, which were grown only by the males during mating season. They would fetch a price twice their weight in gold when the next company ship arrived in port. By the time the next ship arrived, or at worst, the one after that, he would have saved enough to return to Paris and finish his business there. Until then, nothing and no one would interfere with the growth of his assets, least of all a thief in the night. He eased into the shadow of his cabin. The colony's priest wouldn't be the only one handing out penance tonight. Purple clouds shrouded the moon and stars. Tattered haze obscured the ground. To mortal eyes, the darkness beyond the fire's reach scowled as black as the inside of a tomb, but the vampire saw heat as well as light. One glance at the small, radiantly warm-blooded figure emerging from the brush, and his anticipation turned to horror. Then, just as quickly, to relief. The intruder was a very short young woman, not the girl he first assumed. He had been misled by her small stature and the gauntness of the limbs protruding from the stained deerskin shift. He certainly wouldn't be punishing her. The breeze shifted, carrying with it the scent of her sweat, traces of dirt and brackish water clinging to her person. It smelled like she had run through the swamp, away from the homesteads of the Bayou tribes and toward the French settlement, which made no sense. He hunted the swamps nightly. Alligators, panthers, and bears notwithstanding, nothing in the swamp was half as dangerous as the transported felons and fortune hunters inhabiting the hamlet of Nouvelle-Orléans. She scurried toward the fire, pulling up short near his abandoned camp stool. Feet ache, limbs burn, belly squeezes with hunger, and the great gangly man plays coy. As if I cannot see the trail his body cuts through the air. I will end this human quickly. My lips will suck the life from his lungs and swallow it whole. I draw a deep breath. My ribs spread in anticipation. Nothing rides the air but night, fire, rags, and dirt. Where is his breath? No lung-warm mist hugs his face. His chest does not rise or fall. He stares and stares. A hunter's trick. Cat poised to leap seems to stare forever, but look away. It will blink, twitch, breath will come, then the leap. He stays still. This cannot be. All living things breathe. The earth itself emits vapors. Nothing stands unmoving and unchanged. Nothing natural. Is he a puppet crafted by the newcomer from across the sea? The human who made him would be a prey worth taking. An elder's ripe, medicine-filled life would ease the sharp pain gnawing my belly. Ease, but not fill. The once thriving villages along the river are abandoned ghosts. The scattered survivors cower in dwellings sealed against me with medicine, salt, and ash. I have not supped in months. Thanks to these newcomers, I may never be full again. Where hides this elder? Not in the trees, no trace of human or spirit there. In the raised cabin overlooking the fire, the door yawns open. No charms adorn the jamb or lintel. No salt covers the steps or lines the threshold. No barriers to those who feed on human prey. A trap. Must be. This prey is cunning. So am I. On tiptoes, I peer inside. Cot, trunk, bench, basin. Smoked meat and stale bread. Strange smelling solid milk. My nose wrinkles, but no taint of magic. I settle on my heels. What did I not see? Quentin cleared his throat and stepped into the light. Bonsoir. She started. Eyes wide, panting hard, she danced out of reach. But she didn't run or respond to his greeting, even when he repeated it. Buenas noches? I'd say hello, but I don't suppose you speak English, and I don't speak any native language. Talk about the halt leading the lame. His visitor's gaze traveled from his scuffed boots to his gore-splattered apron, then up to his face. Despite the mildness of the night and the warmth of the fire, she shivered and wrung her hands over her belly. Between his short-cropped hair and threadbare clothes, he knew he cut a less than prepossessing figure. But scaring women, that marked a new low. Was it his height? She barely came up to his chest. She must think him a giant. He crouched so his face was level with hers. Je m'appelle Quentin, he offered, touching his chest, in a gesture recognized by Americans and Europeans alike. Quentin Duchesnay. Vous? He asked, pointing at her. She blinked. You, he repeated in English. You must want something, or you would have run away by now. She stared at him. He blew out a silent whistle. She gasped, her expression avid. Are you hungry? Would you like something to eat? He mimed, spooning gruel. Keep him talking. He breathes when he talks. He has life. Devour the sound in the air. More. I whimper, hunching my shoulders. I look up, eyes wide. See how pathetic I am. How harmless. You want to help me. And there I will end. If you're interested in that, that is in Dragons, Cats, and Formidable Femmes. My giveaway, however, is a bit different. It's what happens when I do funding.